as a football club. Like the Champions League is probably the hardest competition there is to win, and that was fuel for us as players. So even though you don't get the success straight away, and I think with crypto as well, you're never going to be to the moon with your first coin or whatever that may be. Trust your process and eventually you'll get where you want to get to. I'm a big believer in stuff like that.
Hi there, from Token 2049. It's a great pleasure to be chatting to John Terry today, a man that needs no introduction, obviously an absolute Chelsea legend, 19 seasons. Most people haven't even worked for 19 years, and this man played top-level football for 19 seasons at Chelsea. John, it's great to chat to you.
Thanks,
First
mate.
of all, we're at a big crypto event, probably a little bit out of your comfort zone and somewhere you might not have seen yourself many years ago.
Yeah, my first time here and I'm loving it. Actually, I was just saying to you that I'd love to spend a bit more time here. It's a really cool event, and yeah, it's out of my comfort zone for sure, but something I'll be back.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, you found yourself in this industry. How did that happen, and what's the biggest takeaway for you so far?
Well, the relationship obviously comes with Bing X. With Chelsea, they're partnered with Chelsea, so I'm here on behalf of Bing X, which is great. But I'm in the space in crypto as well. Not hugely, but enough. So I love the space. I think it's obviously the future and stuff. So I'm invested in it.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. I don't want to talk about specific tokens or anything, but when did you first kind of hear about crypto? Was it with Bitcoin, Ethereum, something like that? How did you dip your toe?
Yeah, it was Bitcoin many years ago. There was a player, I think in 2016-17, said to me I should buy crypto and just invest a little bit of my money in it. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I wish I would have. I wouldn't be here now if I'd invested back then. But it's, yeah, it's just a growing market. That was kind of back in 2016-17. And probably 2 or 3 years after that, I then kind of got into it a little bit.
Let's talk a little bit about NFTs. I mean, in the cryptocurrency space, you've got big players, Chile, Socios, that are powering, token-based fan ecosystems, that kind of thing. Yeah. You can use NFTs for ticketing. It's kind of like the sky is the limit in terms of what you can do with these kind of things. Like, if you look back at your career 10, 15 years ago, you didn't quite have this sort of amalgamation of technology that gives fans some sort of ownership and some sort of say in what you can do with a stadium.
Yeah.
Like, pick the jerseys that Chelsea are going to wear next season. On-chain voting and that kind of stuff powers that. Do you think about that a lot? And like, do you think that this is a natural synergy that is just going to take place?
Yeah, well, a lot to answer there. But firstly, I was involved quite heavily in NFTs. I had some mates myself and stuff, and that's kind of gone a little bit quiet now, the NFT market. But I think the fan interaction, I think, is the key and the biggest thing in this space. Yeah. And I think you have to be, like, a lot of clubs are forward thinking now. They've got teams and commercial teams that are looking at avenues like this, where you can really touch into the supporters and understand what they want and what they need as well. So not everyone likes change. So I think we're still a few years away from seeing the full potential of that, both in crypto and in this space as well. So we're a few years away from that, but I'm just delighted that Chelsea are open to that. We're dipping into that space. You have to understand, you have an older generation, the Chelsea supporters, that like things, that like the paper ticket, that like all of these bits, but it's all going digital now. Mm-hmm. We need to get used to it, and that's how it is.
I like that. I like that you have that forward-thinking approach, because it is hard to change people's minds. I used to be a sports journalist before I got involved in this industry, so I think I've kind of had a similar transition where you go from speaking to top sports people to talking to the people in the cryptocurrency industry. Yeah. It's a space that's evolved a lot. 5-10 years ago, a lot of people were saying there's a lot of fraud, there's a lot of bad things in this industry. But really, having interviewed the people that I have, it's very clear to see that these are the top business people, the top technologists. Is there anything like advice or sort of insights that you could give from your background as a football player, someone that played 19 seasons at the top level of the sport? I mean, that's a crazy amount of longevity. What sort of advice would you have for people running these big companies about building trust and really giving some longevity?
Well, I think we're seeing kind of governments and countries kind of really looking to accept that. Like I said before, I think we're 3-4 years away from taking it out of the control of the governments, which I think they like the power of that and controlling that as well. So again, we have to be patient with it. It's not something that can just happen overnight, because like I said before, there's generations who need to adapt and understand that a little bit. It's a space probably more so for the younger generation, and these guys are so switched on. I think we need to be really open-minded. And I think, like, leading teams and leading people in sport, I think the crossover is that regardless if you're 19 or 20 or you're 35, 36 at the back end of your career, everyone's got something to give to the company. So I think just always be open-minded of the opinions that you seek from everyone within the space.
I'm very curious about your opinion when it comes to dealing with big partners and sponsors and like new technologies or new things happening in new sectors. Obviously, as a player, you would have dealt with many endorsements, probably some good, some bad. You've got a lot of big name footballers. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo's NFT collections are probably the most well known because he's the biggest brand in football.
Yeah.
How do you go about like choosing what to do and what not to do? Because obviously that's difficult, and you don't want to sully your own reputation or associate yourself with the wrong person. That's a hard thing to do. I mean, do you have these kind of conversations with the other guys coming out with Chelsea?
Well, of course, a lot of people have got their agents looking after them as well, and it's how you filter that. So naturally, you get offered a lot of good opportunities, or what you think are good opportunities. Not all of them are going to come to fruition. Yeah. So it's about kind of dissecting and picking those that are right ones that really suit your beliefs and your lifestyle as well. Yeah. Like if I'm John Terry, like I love golf, I love fitness. If I start promoting some fast food company, that doesn't kind of sit well with me. Yeah. My followers know that that's not me. I'm doing it for a monetary purpose. Yeah. People don't engage. Actually, if I start talking about golf and I'm in the space of crypto, I'm in the space of fitness, like people know I do all of that stuff. So people buy into it because I'm not talking because I'm getting paid to do that. Yeah. I'm there because I'm in the space and I believe in it as well. So as a player, you have to kind of filter that. Yeah. Your main purpose as a player is to focus on the football side of it, have a management team around you that can guide you and shape you in the way that you want to be shaped. Yeah.
I used to be a sports journalist, so there's a few things that I never thought that I'd have a chance to interview you. I was more of a rugby man than a football man, but take us back to that Champions League missed penalty. I look at guys like Sean Pollock from the South African cricket scene, and guys like Alan Donald who faced enormous disappointment, like not running a run and then losing out the chance to win a Cricket World Cup. How did you deal with that disappointment as a player, and like, did it really shape you as a footballer?
Well, it makes you hungrier for sure, and I think in football, what's kind of great about football is that 3 days later, after that Champions League final, and probably the hardest moment in my career, I played for England. We had an England game 3 days later at Wembley. I scored against America. I scored a header from outside the box. And I was frustrated after, because if I could have swapped those two moments of what goal went in and what didn't, it would have been those two. But straight away, I'm back in another game. That's never forgotten. It's always at the back of your mind. But I think you then have to use that as a fire in the belly. And I certainly did it, me personally, but also I think as a collective, as a football club, like the Champions League is probably the hardest competition there is to win. Yeah. And that was fuel for us as players. So even though you don't get the success straight away, and I think with crypto as well, you're never going to be to the moon with your first coin or whatever that may be. But trust your process, and eventually you'll get where you want to get to. I'm a big believer in stuff like that.
I want to ask you a bit about Jose Mourinho, because you mentioned him on stage, probably your favorite coach that you ever worked with. Yeah. Why? And like, is there ever going to be some? I mean, like, he's in the same league as the gaffer at Manchester United, but like, what's the difference between the two? And what did you like so much about the special?
Just firstly, I love him as a person, as a man. I was petrified of him. I was so scared of him, and I think all the best managers that have had real success have that fear factor. Yeah. Sir Alex Ferguson had that, Mourinho had that, Guardiola has that. All the top guys have that a little bit, and he had it in abundance. He was just an incredible guy that pushed me even further than I felt I could go to. He's been like a father figure to me. My kids love him. Yeah, I just can't speak highly enough of him. He's a great manager and a great man.
How did you play 19 seasons? What was the secret to your longevity?
Staying fit and staying healthy and doing the right things. I think we're seeing a lot of that now, because we're seeing a lot of documentaries you get to see behind the scenes of stuff. I employed a chef when I was 24. When I got made Chelsea captain, when Mourinho first came in, I had a full-time chef, a full-time masseur, masseuse that were coming around regularly to look after me. I was doing all the bits off the pitch as well as I could. Back then, if you spoke about that, or when you're from England, when you promote stuff like this, people go, oh, you're flash or showing off. Now players are doing it, and it was what I was doing kind of back then, but I couldn't kind of come out and say I was doing it, because you get...
And you didn't have the social media.
Yeah, you don't have the social media either, but I think football's a short career as well. Let's not forget that. So at 38, I knew I'd be finished some way or another. So in that space of 20 years or 22 years, like you said, I have to give it absolutely everything. I have to max my earnings for my full capacity. And I think I've done that. And I think I don't have no regrets in football. I left everything out there. I'm proud of what I achieved. And I think when that transfers over to business or sport, I think it's the same. Give it absolutely everything and try your best.
I have to ask, was there ever a club that put a number down in front of you that was like made you tempted to leave Chelsea? Because I mean, you are the poster boy for, you know, loyalty.
Yeah.
But surely there must have been some good offers.
Well, Man City made an offer for me of 29 million. When the club brought that to me, I asked to speak directly with Mr. Abramovich, and we met in the cottage at the training ground at Chelsea. And very quickly, within the space of 10 minutes, I'd negotiated a brand new contract for myself. I told him, Chelsea's my club. I never want to leave. I hope it's not a financial reason that you might think about selling me, which it wasn't, because he had all the money in the world. So once that was clearly settled, I said to him, I love the club. I want to stay forever. Let's make it a long contract. And I signed a 5-year contract. But, you know, I think these opportunities come up for players, but Chelsea's my club and still is today. And hence, you know, I'm here because of the loyalty I show to the football club, and working with Bing X as a great partner as well.
You're a great football man. You're a great human. We thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to seeing your progression in this industry.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.